It was quite exciting and challenging both at the same time. Exciting because, I've never seen anybody rowing before. The nearest I got to a rowing boat was probably on a Butlins holiday in a rowing boat, and that was probably about it. So Monica was obviously first to embark upon that as her sport. So there were a lot of unknowns, a lot of things that I didn't know what it involved, what it entailed. I wondered if the training would be too hard for her in terms of fitting in all of the exercising and all of her schoolwork and, making progress. I didn't know how much time she should be doing the rowing. So it was all very much an unknown, and there wasn't really anybody to ask because everybody else seemed to know what they were doing. So that was quite difficult, and you kind of had to make it up as you go along. So learning by just attending regattas and watching what other parents were doing, really, to a large extent. I think the whole thing was a mystery to me because I didn't understand the language. I didn't understand the language about the boat. I didn't know what the bow seat was. I didn't know what the catch was. I didn't know what catching a crab meant. It was a completely new language that I felt that I had just been plunged into. And everybody else seemed to know what they were talking about, whereas I felt very much out on a limb and having to just learn by observing what other people were doing and listening and reading and trying to pick up what they were talking about. So, I'd never, I'd been perhaps to a gym where I'd seen an ergo, but I'd never sat on one, so I didn't know what the slide was, I didn't know anything about all of the terminology. So that was quite a steep learning curve. So, especially, when say we're not a particularly sporty family is not necessarily true. We enjoy sport, but if you've never been to a rowing lake and you've never seen, I remember being completely staggered at how narrow the boats were. When Monica said that she was rowing, it was like, oh right, okay, and went along to have a look and watch what she was doing, and I was just so surprised at how just the physicality of the boat was so much different than I had even expected. I'd never been up close to any equipment like that.
Yeah, sure.
So
I think it's also difficult for parents sometimes to know the etiquette and how to behave at a competition. I know a few times before where, say for example, I've just lost the race and, not you, Mum, but a parent has bounded up to me and expected me to be all ready to discuss it. And I think that is a conversation you have to have with your athlete before. So how do you want me to behave? Do you want me to come up to you after a race and it's gone well? Do you want me to come up to you? And often it's when it's gone badly, that's the hardest part, because when it's gone well, it's all hugs and kisses and celebrations. But how do you react to your child when they haven't got the result they wanted to and they are absolutely disappointed? You almost can't say the right thing. So having that conversation up front.
I think to an extent as well, it's not even just your own child that you have to be careful of, because 9 times out of 10, in rowing especially, and in a lot of team sports, you'll be competing with other people. So if a parent was to catch one of their child's teammates and they don't know what kind of mental state that teammate's going to be in, and so actually knowing what to do with other people's children as well as your own is probably really key.
Even I think as well, when you're watching a race unfold and you want to cheer for your athlete in that boat, you have to be conscious that they may be in with another whole lot of crew. So to just stand on the sidelines shouting for your one particular athlete is a bit selfish, because they are one of, say, 4 other athletes in a boat, and you want to cheer on the whole team. So it's learning as you say, the etiquette of that as well, and you can't just know that instinctively. You have to kind of absorb it from other parents and see what is expected.
And of course